Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a coffee, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and X. Now we are joined by 10th Man, Eli, Neil, and a whole bunch of people in the Flat Earth Debate Discord server. So, welcome one and all.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. We've got a lot to get through today. So we've got a presentation today, and I've actually put it in the title. Typically, I don't know what we're going to do before we start the live show, because we do them daily. And the title will emerge based on what we do in the live show. And today, that is not the case, as we do have 10th Man Rising with us. And as a result, somebody's off mute. Who's off mute? Somebody's off mute. Put yourselves on mute, please. Whoever.
Just me. Just me, I guess.
Probably you then. Put yourself on mute if you don't mind.
Well, I have to leave the screen. Hold on.
Oh, sheesh. Doing a presentation from a mobile phone. Great start to the live show. Anyway.
Okay, go on.
We've got a lot to get through. So we did have a response video to some of Amber... I was about to say Amber Heard. I don't know why I was about to say Amber Heard. Candice Owens' detractors video that we have got queued up. But in the meantime, we're actually going to transition across to 10th Man Rising, who has a presentation on the name of the video, which is the Osborne Firefinder, which is an absolutely epic flat earth proof. And like minds, great minds think alike. And this is something that I looked at a couple of weeks back, maybe longer. I can't remember exactly how long ago, and shared on one of the Skype feeds. Probably somebody watching it, maybe, I don't know. But 10th Man's come back with it and obviously given it a lot more consideration than I did and done a full presentation on it. So I'm going to do something that I don't typically do after doing all my call to actions in the pre-show, in the intro. Do a share now. If you're not typically doing shares, smash the share button and stick it out on Facebook and YouTube. I know I've already done this once in the intro, but this is one of those video presentations that you're going to want to share with other people. Oh my God, who is off mute? I'm nearly done. I just want to do a decent intro. It's second interruption. Whoever's off mute, please can you put you 10th?
Yeah, I can't stop it because I will lose everything.
Okay, I'll hand over to you, 10th. I've tried to give you a good intro. You've caused the failure, so it's your own fault. But over to you. This is the presentation on the Osborne Firefinder. Go ahead.
No, what you're hearing is the heater, and I just turned it off, but it's on the lag, so it hasn't turned off yet. So your system there is so good, it's picking up my heater, believe it or not, in the house.
Either way. So one more time. Share the show. Smash that share button. That's it. Go ahead.
All right. So this I saw on Sunday, and immediately, I knew what it was, but I'd never seen it before. And so I went and did research, and talking to Nathan today in the pre-show, he said he'd seen it a week or two ago. And I said, well, I just saw it on Sunday, and I knew exactly what I needed to do a big, deep dive in it and get a presentation going, because it obviously is flat Earth related. So here we go. This is the second presentation in a series of presentations with Perplexity AI. I will use illustrations and graphics, as well as a very detailed question and answer session with Perplexity AI search engine on the Osborne Firefinder and its operational use. 10th Man. So I pulled this up just from the internet, and it says the core job of the fire watcher and the entire reason lookouts exist is to spot fires and accurately and quickly relay the location. The number one tool for this task is the firefinder, Alidate, a sighting device or pointer for determining directions or measuring angles used in surveying and formerly astronomy. The Osborne firefinder, invented in the early 1900s, is a style of alidade most frequently used in lookout towers, at least here in Idaho. They are quite literally the centerpiece of each lookout tower. Dead center in the cab of each lookout is the podium with the Osborne lookout on top. So what is an alidade? So if we go to Webster's, a rule equipped with simple or telescopic sights and used for determination of direction, such as a part of an astrolabe or a part of surveying instrument consisting of the telescope and its attachments. To the right, an alidade is a measuring instrument of ancient origin that employs line of sight to determine the positional characteristics of a remote object in relation to the observer. Remember that. Application of the information obtained by this device has been and continues to be as varied as human ingenuity. At its most basic, it's simply a straight edge which can be rotated along a scale of any known defined choosing. One end of the straight edge represents the observer. The other end is moved to sight the object. The scale is read as a measurement of their relationship, much like the sextant, the navigator's zenith versus the zenith of the star in its GP, in the same manner, basically. So here's a view of the inside of the cabin, and there it is right there on that table. And we're going to have other looks at it. So here's a few guys actually using it. You can see that it's a circular map. It's scaled. In each box represents a certain amount of miles over the Earth. And you can see the sight tube there with the peephole there to the right. And then at the end, you got your target with two horsehairs as the means of spotting the fire. And in the middle of this map is where the cabin or the lookout station is. So when you're looking at this map, the guys in that room are in the middle of this map. So they're like the GP, and the circle of equal altitude is around them, if you follow. And here's some more pictures, so you can see.
While you've got those pictures up, just 1 second. What I'm going to do, 10th, actually, it was 2 months ago, not 2 weeks ago. I found the video. So I assume it's one I've watched because it's got a red line underneath it. So what I'm going to do, because it's a shorts video, that's quite handy for me to just play briefly. Bear with me a second.
Sure.
Use an Osborne firefinder to find a smoke. Step 1. Did you find a new smoke? Check. Step 2. Did you line up the crosshairs of the firefinder with the smoke? Check.
Perfect. So now you can see it on screen. Nice pretty picture of him with it in front of him to give you an idea of how big it is.
Step 3. Did you figure out your azimuth or the angle of your lookout to the fire? Check.
Okay, I'm going to leave it there because that's pretty much where 10th's got to. Goodbye, you 10th?
Yeah, I've seen this video already. Very good. Very good. Among like 10 others, but yeah, I saw that one too. All right, so you can see here, you also got to know that it's a 360, much like a compass, and it's always set to north. So as you do the azimuth, just like in celestial navigation with the direction of the star or sun, you're going to know on the compass heading the same way as it's done here. Here's another view of it. This is really nice because that top view on the right picture, you got to realize you're right there in the middle of that, and you can just turn around and cover all that forest area. And if you see smoke, you just turn it around. But the whole unit is set to north, so you're referencing north and a horizontal plane. I took the liberty of showing a few towers so you can see the variety of them, but they're all over. Shall we begin?
Yes.
AI, describe how an Osborne firefinder instrument works. The Osborne firefinder is a traditional tool used in fire lookout towers to locate wildfires. It consists of a circular map centered on the tower's location with a rotating sighting arm that can turn 360 degrees. Here's how it works. Alignment, lookouts aligned sighting arm for smoke using crosshairs. Azimuth reading, the arms point to a degree on the map's perimeter, indicating the azimuth direction of the smoke. Distance estimation, a metal tape measures the distance on the map, which is converted to real-world distance using map scale. Real world. Triangulation, bearings from multiple towers can be used to triangulate the fire's exact location. What are the main components, AI, of the Osborne firefinder? Answer. Topographic map positioned on the horizontal plane centered on the device. Circular rim graduated in degrees measuring for azimuths. That's direction, by the way. Sighting apertures, 2 sights mounted on the opposite sides of the ring for alignment with smoke. Glass top table supports the map, allows for precise sighting and measurement. Graduated azimuth rim used for reading directional bearings accurately. How do you know in advance the exact miles in between different peaks and valleys? Circular topographical map. The exact distances between peaks and valleys on a circular topographic map are determined by using contour lines and map scales. Contour lines, these lines connect points of equal elevation, allowing you to visualize the terrain shape and elevation changes. Map scale. The scale translates map measurements to real world distances. 1 to 24,000 means 1 inch on the map equals 24,000 inches on the ground. Contour intervals. The vertical distance between contour lines helps calculate elevation differences and infer horizontal distance. So took the liberty to get some of these things on screen with images, and you can see here how the contour lines, because Earth has hills and valleys and everything else, but as you see at the bottom right, 0 meter contour line sea level. So they reference sea level, and then whatever it is based on sea level, they show you the elevation of the hills at different parts of the hill. And the next slide, I believe, will be more detailed. As you can see here, if a gentle slope on the topographic map would have those ziggly lines, but wider apart, whereas a steep slope would have tighter lines. And you could see the elevation here on the side view. AI, what is the largest area in miles that this instrument can measure distance? The Osborne firefinder can measure distance using a metal tape scale on the map. The maximum area it can measure depends on the map scale used. For example, on the map with half-inch scale, the fire estimated to be 3 inches from the tower would be 6 miles away. Therefore, the largest area it can measure limited by the map's coverage and scale. Very important part here. Rather than the specific maximum distance inherent to the instrument itself. Should I read that again, Nathan?
You can, but I want to do another call to action because I don't know. Try and keep quiet. Just I know you can't mute. So this is a very important presentation. So ideally, if you are watching this live stream, first and foremost, I've put a link to the video, the shorts video, so you can let that guy know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. But also, I want you to smash the share button for this show because this is going to be something that people will pick up on and go, "This is easy to understand. It's got a practical application." And I want people to understand how Earth is measured flat with this tool. So please share the show if you've not done so already. There's 66 people watching now, as we've not long begun. But let's get this number much, much higher. Let's get it well over 100 people watching today for this presentation. Yes, go over it again, 10th man. Please.
Therefore, the largest area it can measure is limited by the map's coverage and scale rather than a specific maximum distance inherent to the instrument itself. So then I say, AI, what are the limitations of the Osborne Firefinder in measuring distance? It says there are several limitations in measuring distance. Map scale dependency. Accuracy is limited by the scale of the map used. Larger scale maps provide more detail but cover smaller areas. And that's the kind that the Forestry Service uses, maximum 20 miles, I think. But you can do other maps with smaller scale, and it's even more areas, but less detailed. Line of sight. Obstacles like terrain or structures can obstruct the line of sight, affect accuracy. Manual estimation. Distance estimation relies on manual measurement and local terrain knowledge, which can introduce errors. Obviously, the map has already been mapped, and those squares equal 2 miles. Each 1 inch was 2 miles. Limited range, the effective range is constrained by visibility of map coverage. All right, AI, what would be the largest distance on a small scale map? On a small scale map such as 1 to 1 million, 1 inch map represents approximately 16 miles on the ground. See, the ground position, the ground. Therefore, the largest distance that can be represented depends on the map's physical size. For example, if the map is 10 inches wide, it could theoretically represent up to 160 miles across. Remember that thing I read twice? That inherent to the device, the measurement is accurate, except for detail when you go to smaller maps? All right, AI, could the Osborne Firefinder use such a map with such distances on a clear day? Meaning, the one that was 160 miles. The Osborne Firefinder is not well suited for small scale maps that cover large distances, like those of 1 to 1 million scale. Such maps provide limited detail, making precise distance measurements challenging. The instrument is designed for more detailed maps typically used in fire lookouts, where accurate readings are crucial in locating fires within a manageable range, usually up to several miles. So what would be the maximum range? AI says the maximum range of the Osborne Firefinder is typically limited by the scale of the map and visibility conditions. On the map with a half-inch scale, distances up to 6 miles can be measured accurately. However, practical limitations such as terrain, visibility, and map size generally restrict effective use to around 20 miles. All right, so let's look at a few things here that I put. Scales, showing you different scales. Now you can see this, 1 to 1.3 million, 1 to 16 million, 1 to 37 million, 1 to 94 million. So 1 inch is 94 million inches, right? All right. Remember it said that the device works no matter what? It's just how much detail you want. And you see in the lookout station in the forest fire, you want as much detail so they go real small, but they got multiple lookouts so they can have the circle of equal altitude and triangulation occur. But the device still works in large distances as well. So then I ask, then I would assume that other lookout towers intersect with each other to create cross sections, similar to how circle of equal altitude overlap each other. Yes, lookout towers are a method similar to intersecting circles of equal altitude. When multiple towers observe the same smoke and determine its azimuth direction, they can use triangulation to pinpoint the fire's location. Each tower's line of sight acts as a radius from the circle centered on the tower. We know radius lines don't bend. The intersection of these lines help accurately locate the fire, much like how circles of equal altitude overlap to determine the position in celestial navigation. Well, I decided to do a search and pick up a few pictures online of how these towers are in various different locations in different parts of the United States. As you can see here, they're all in close proximity to each other so that they can have the overlap so they can triangulate. Because they're using a large scale map and they want more detail. Is this done by leveling the firefinder and representing a plane of reference parallel to the Earth's surface? Question mark. AI answers yes. The Osborne firefinder is leveled to create a plane of reference parallel to the Earth's surface. This ensures accurate horizontal readings. The leveling process involves adjusting screws to the center of the bubble in the level 2 place in various azimuths around the instrument. The alignment helps maintain precision in locating fires by ensuring the map and sighting apparatus are properly oriented and stable. Then I ask, how do you ensure the firefinder remains level throughout the day? He says, morning check, regular monitoring, and prevent side play. So it's very important this thing is level, or it's not going to give you the right reading. What happens if the firefinder is not level, AI? If the Osborne firefinder is not level, it can lead to inaccurate horizontal angle readings. This misalignment affects the precision of locating fires, as the azimuth readings will be incorrect. Ensuring the instrument is level is crucial for accurate fire location, reporting, and effective triangulation with other lookout towers. And your mind is seeing the other lookout towers also have to be level. And since that circle crosses the other circle, then both circles are level. And when you add all the other lookout towers, everything is level. Everyone following?
And they're leveling it with respect to level.
Yes. Yes, that's what I mean.
One more call to action. I've just put a quick poll up for the audience, which was, did you share the show? Yes, I like sharing this top quality flat earth proving information, or no, I'd rather keep the top quality flat earth proving information just for myself. So just a bit of fun. The idea being to encourage you to actually hit the share button and smash it on Facebook or Twitter. Now X. Go ahead, 10th.
All right, so we move on. What are the consequences of not leveling the firefinder daily? Inaccurate readings, operational errors, increased adjustment needs. So it's pretty much a prerequisite. This thing needs to be level, straight, flat, 0 degrees, so you can have a horizontal reference that doesn't change. What are the potential risks of using an unlevel firefinder in emergency situations? Inaccurate fire location. Misaligned readings can lead to inaccurate fire location, reporting, delaying response efforts, and potentially allowing fires to spread unchecked. Ineffective coordination. Inaccurate data can hinder the coordination between multiple lookout towers, complicating triangulation efforts necessary to precise fire pinpointing. Increased fire spread. Delays in accurately locating, responding to fires can result in rapid fire spread, especially under extreme fire danger conditions, increasing the potential of large-scale damage.
So this is
important.
Sorry to interrupt. Just to reiterate that to the audience, life and death stuff here, highly dangerous. That's the necessity for this to be done. Very important. Anyway, sorry to interject.
No, like mine. So it's a very important stuff. You better have it done right, or else people might die. All right. When the ranger looks through the firefinder sight hole and sees rising smoke, is he referencing that based on a horizontal line in the air above the earth below it? AI says, when the ranger looks through the Osborne firefinder sight hole, they align it with the smoke using crosshairs. The alignment is based on a horizontal plane parallel to the Earth's surface, ensuring accurate azimuth readings. The device allows for both horizontal and vertical angle measurements, but primarily focuses on horizontal bearings to determine the direction of the smoke relative to the lookout point. Well, here's a schematic of it, I guess. You can see at the base, it's got 2 long bars, and you can slide it left to right in the event there's a fire and one of the posts in the lookout tower is in your way. You can move it, it still stays level, and you could get through another window and not have that post get in your way. Then it's got the leveling screws at the bottom left, and then at the bottom right, it talked about those tracks where I told you about the sliding. And then it's got everything else, the sight, the hairs and all that used for the siding, and the base map. And remember, tape for delineating line of sight. And you are right there in the middle in the tower of this map. So the lookout tower is in the middle of this map. Similar to how depression and elevation angles are measured then. AI says, yes, the ranger's reference to a horizontal line when using Osborne Firefinder is similar to measuring angles of elevation and depression. The instrument aligns with the horizontal plane parallel to the Earth's surface, once again. Much like how angles of elevation and depression are measured from a horizontal line. Notice it didn't say curve, Earth. It ensures accurate readings of azimuths and bearings, which are crucial for determining direction and smoke of fires relative to observers' position.
We're all following. AI is telling you Earth is flat.
Indeed. So now I got this schematic from the actual PDF of this instrument, and it shows that top picture, a side orthographic view of the instrument, and how the level horizontal line is right there. And because the tower is way up on a hill, and it's probably 50 feet or 109 feet even above the hill because they're built high, so you can see further, you can do a depression angle, you can do an elevation angle, but you got your horizontal plane of reference. And again, like they said earlier, in spotting smoke, as the bottom picture here shows the smoke in the distance, you're not really using the elevation depression angle element of this tool for fire location. You're just using the horizontal reference. So then we've seen this slide before when we've done celestial navigation, same concept here. But that horizontal line there that you see that differentiates an elevation angle and a depression angle, the Earth has to be parallel to that. 0 degrees, sea level. All right, so then I say, AI, since the circular map below serves as an accurate representation of distances in miles between hills, peaks, and valleys, corresponding to the distance of the smoke, would this be a correct understanding? Yes, 10th man. Your understanding is correct. The circular map on the Osborne Firefinder accurately represents distances between geographical features like hills, peaks, and valleys. This allows user to estimate the distance to smoke by measuring the map distance using a metal tape and converting it based on map scale. All right, AI, how does this metal tape on the map aid in estimating fire distance? The metal tape on the Osborne Firefinder aids in estimating distance by providing a direct measurement. A direct measurement from the lookout point to the observed smoke on the map. The tape is marked in inches, and when used with a map of known scale, 1/2 inch scale, it allows for quick conversion of map distance in real world distance. Direct measurement, real world distance. For instance, if the smoke is 3 inches away on the map, it corresponds to 6 miles on the ground with 1/2 inch scale map. Well, I found a video and I took some pictures of that tape, and this is what it looks like. And there's your scale in squares of the actual terrain. That's real world. And that's how they do it. All right, AI, what scale is typically used on maps with the metal tape? The typical map scale used in the Osborne Firefinder metal tape is 1 to 24,000. This scale, commonly used in U.S. topographic mapping, allows for detailed representation of terrain features and accurate distance measurements, where 1 inch on the map represents 2,000 feet on the ground. So you can see how the ranger would practice and know by the map if there was smoke coming beyond peak 1 and there's a valley between that peak to the other peak. He knows where that is on the map because it's a large scale map and it's very detailed. What features are typically omitted from smaller scale maps? So, the longer distances. On a smaller scale, which cover large geographic areas, certain features are typically omitted or generalized to maintain clarity, such as minor roads and streets, small water bodies, detailed topography, and buildings and infrastructure. So AI, then really whichever scale map is being referenced by the firefinder, the horizontal line of reference is always being referenced for accuracy. AI says, yes, regardless of the map scale used with the Osborne firefinder, the horizontal line of reference remains crucial for accuracy. The instrument is designed to maintain a level plane parallel to the Earth's surface, ensuring that azimuth readings are precise. This horizontal alignment is essential for accurately determining the direction and distance to smoke or fires, regardless of the map's scale. Isn't that wonderful, Nathan?
Yeah, fantastic.
Okay, yeah, much like how a bubble section uses a spirit level for reference from an airplane, right? AI says, yes, 10th man. The Osborne firefinder uses a horizontal reference similar to how a bubble section uses a spirit level in aviation. Both instruments establish a level plane for accurate measurements. The bubble section relies on the bubble to maintain this plane, crucial for navigation when the natural horizon isn't visible. Much like the firefinder ensures accurate azimuth readings by maintaining a level reference parallel to Earth's surface. Okay, AI, 0 degrees to 90 degrees gives a maximum of 5,400 nautical miles zenith distance over the Earth using the bubble section. What say you? And AI says the statement that 0 degrees to 90 degrees gives a maximum 5,400 nautical mile zenith distance over the Earth using a bubble section is correct, 10th man. This is because 1 degree of latitude corresponds to 60 nautical miles. Therefore, the distance from the equator to the pole is 90 times 60 equals 5,400 nautical miles. All right, referencing horizontal, right, AI? Oh, yeah, the bubble section uses a spirit level to maintain a horizontal reference, similar to how the Osborne firefinder maintains a level plane for accurate readings. The horizontal alignment is crucial for both instruments to ensure precise measurements, whether determining celestial altitudes, or azimuths on the ground. This is worth thinking about here. The horizontal alignment is crucial for both instruments to ensure precise measurements. So we got 5,400 nautical miles flat, precise, and we've got 20 miles flat, precise. Because it's got to be parallel to the Earth's surface. All right, let's move on. So, what?
Go ahead, Adam.
Well, I was saying 10th year roboting for me. I don't know about everybody else.
I can't help it. I'm on my phone.
Not a criticism.
Hey, everyone can hold fire for the admin stuff till the presentation. So it's only got a couple more minutes, I'm sure.
Yep. All right, so continuing on, sorry about the roboting. So in practice AI, any object or even smoke, as long as it's seen above this horizontal plane of reference from 0 to 90 degrees, can be measured in statute miles or nautical miles. He answers, in practice, using a bubble section or similar instrument, any object or smoke seen above the horizontal plane can be measured in terms of angular distance. This allows for calculations in both statute and nautical miles. The horizontal reference ensures accurate altitude measurements, which can then be converted to distances based on the observer's position and the object's angle above the horizon. Pretty interesting. The observer's position and the object's angle above the horizon. All right, so then AI, the Osborne firefinder, regardless of the scale of maps used, small or large, functions in the same way? Question mark? Yes, 10th man. The Osborne firefinder functions in the same way regardless of the map scale used, whether small or large. It maintains a consistent method for determining azimuth and estimating distances by aligning with a horizontal plane. I don't see Earth curve anywhere. Do you, Nathan?
There's been no mention of it thus far.
Okay. Well, for accuracy and for distances, it's horizontal plane. The map scale affects the level of detail and distance representation. But here we go. But the fundamental operation of the firefinder remains unchanged. I think that's a key point. Okay, AI, thank you. Can you please give me a concise, detailed summary of our conversation, highlighting all the main points? So he does. Osborne Firefinder functionality. The Osborne Firefinder used for locating fires, measuring azimuths from a lookout tower. It's typically leveled to create horizontal reference plane parallel to the Earth's surface. Maximum range and accuracy. The firefinder can accurately measure distances up to 20 miles, depending on visibility and terrain. Accurate readings rely on the instrument being level. Otherwise, it can lead to miscalculations of fire locations. Triangulation. Multiple lookout towers can intersect their azimuth readings, triangulate the exact location of smoke, of fire, similar to overlapping circles of equal altitudes. Map scale. The typical scale used is 1 inch to 24,000 inches, allowing for detailed terrain representation. Smaller scale maps omit features like minor roads and small water bodies or clarity. Measurement techniques. The metal tape on the map aids in estimating distance by providing direct measurements that can be converted based on the map scale. Direct measurements based on the map scale. The horizontal reference is crucial for accuracy in both the firefinder and the bubble sextant. Well, what do you know? General measurement principles. Any object smoke above the horizontal plane can be measured in angular distance, which can then be converted into statute or nautical miles. This summary encapsulates the main points discussed regarding the operation and principles behind the Osborne firefinder and its use of fire detection. This presentation is concluded. Thank you for watching 10th Man.
I'm going to let the guy give another brief summary on that shorts video, just his first like 25 seconds, because it's worthy of doing at this point, just for those who want a nice little accurate summary about exactly what we're talking about with a visual idea of what's going on.
This is how to use an Osborne firefinder to find a smoke. Step 1. Did you find a new smoke? Check. Step 2. Did you line up the crosshairs of the firefinder with the smoke?
This is what's being described if you've got multiple points by 10th in the summary.
Check. Step 3. Did you figure out your azimuth or the angle of your lookout to the fire? Check. Step 4. Did you radio the other lookouts in the area to see if they could see your smoke?
They're all generally following along. Might as well hear the last little bit if I don't think we played it the first time around.
Check. If you're the only fire lookout who can see it, then you move on to the next step. Step 5. Did you use the detailed topo maps and your knowledge of the area to estimate the location of the fire? Check. It tells you the smoke has to lie somewhere exactly along this line on the map.
This flat map, leveled. How often did he say that they have to level it? Every single time they use it, or daily or something? Yep.
Daily.
So if you figure out a promising location for the smoke on your detailed topo map, you can cross-reference it with the firefinder. If the point that you pick lies somewhere exactly along this line, then you probably got it right. Step 6. Did you write up a detailed smoke report to send into dispatch? Check.
Okay, so that bit isn't necessarily useful for us, but nevertheless.
Once the fire is reported, you just keep an eye on it and let the office know if there's any sudden changes in its behavior. This is how to use an Osborne.
There you go. Thank you very much, 10th. As is always the case when we use a video in any response or such like, please let the videographer know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. There is a link going by in the live stream chat right now. So if you are watching live, thank you very much to all of you. Smash the share button to encourage a few of you to join from further beyond our usual catchment, hopefully. A few of you have come along and heard at least part of that presentation. It is definitely a video, this live show, a video worthy of sharing. So again, last but not, by no means least, thanks very much, 10th Man. That was excellent. Thank you so much for putting that together.
You're welcome.
Awesome.
Good morning. Shout out, John. Was good.
Just the general presentation on the Osborne Firefinder. Very good stuff.
Notice how when you are practical and you ask the right questions, AI is obliged to tell you how these things work, and AI is not triggered that the horizontal plane is being used to say level means curved. AI doesn't do that.
No, but 10th Man, can you ask AI a question for me?
Well, you can do it.
Are the
You got
Yankees ever
AI.
going to win a game?
You thought he had a serious question and you rumpus the joke.
Oh, I know. He's mad that his Yankees lost 3 games in a row.
I can't do much about that,
But
I'm
this
afraid, Neil.
presentation really encouraged me. I was so down.
AI is like anything else. It's garbage in and garbage out. So it's screening all the data that's given to it and then spitting it back out to you. It is the perfect example of garbage in and garbage out. It has no ulterior motive in this regard. It's just describing it in terms of the data that it's scraped in regards to this particular subject matter. And the data that it can and will have scraped is abundant. None of it's going to be referencing anything other than measuring and detailing and relaying information about a flat plane. Because that's what we are on.
Well, you remember the previous presentation in the series of presentations I'll be doing with AI. You have to ask him, I refer to him as a him, but we know it's a AI. But anyway, you have to ask him specific, detailed questions because the garbage comes out. And then in the last presentation, some garbage came out about the globe after AI told us how flat it was. And I had to repurpose the question and come around to catch him to where he corrected himself. And I find that AI does correct himself if it crosses logic and reasoning and measurements. If you bring in measurements with AI, he sticks to measurements. He says measurements are higher than calculations. Measurements are everything. So by practicing with AI, I avoid a lot of the garbage terms that a baller would normally throw in by realizing if I just ask the right way, even AI is going to pull measurement content rather than trying to say how horizontal is curving, which is nonsense.
Shout out to us so far for the super chat. He says, sounds like AI knows the Earth is flat, but will it admit it? Question mark. AI never says the Earth is flat, open brackets, even when, what's that word? Even when cornered. Even when cornered, it always resorts back to the globe. Yeah, I'd probably agree with you.
No, it does. It does. AI always has that garbage globe rhetoric. But then when you say, what's the fundamental reference frame? He says the equatorial plane. I go, is that a 180? He goes, yeah. And I go, so there's no curve. Yes, it just dies a real quick death.
Yeah, when it comes to actually detailing how it's functionally operating, everything's with respect to Earth being flat. The moment you suggest to an AI algorithm that's been scraping information to tell any participant when asked if Earth is flat that it isn't, it's just going to do that. It doesn't mean anything. It's just AI. It doesn't have feelings. It doesn't get tired. It doesn't feel pain. I'm trying to be Carl Reese. And it absolutely will not stop. Indeed. So, a couple...
It's true though what Tim said though. Like the AI doesn't have to sit there and figure out which word to use in order to not sound wrong and get called out by whoever he's debating.
Excellent point. Yes.
It's
just going to take the data and represent it based on the question you've asked, and it's not going to read between the lines of an ulterior motive where we're going to take its words and present it to human beings to say, look, this is just how it's dealt with. When you're dealing with an opponent, because that's what this is. It's a back and forth between 10th and man. It's a battle of wits with a machine, which is great. But ultimately, it's just dealing with data, and it's going to regurgitate that data. If the majority of the data with respect to you asking it if Earth is a sphere or not is always coming back as a positive until it's having to be caught out, then you just have to catch it out. And then we are just dealing with a computerized baller. But in this instance, there's no ulterior motive. It's just answering questions about how Earth is measured. And it is measured flat. Again, props, 10th. Very good presentation.
Thank you. Had fun doing it.
We are going to cover a bit of a detractor after a shout out for a show later on this evening. So 6 p.m. UK time, because of the clocks going back here in the UK, and 1 p.m. the standard time, US Central that is Quantum Eraser's QE live stream. So be here or be sphere on the Quantum Eraser YouTube channel, as I say, 6 p.m. UK, 1 p.m. US Central, 8 a.m. Sydney Australian time. So check it out. And hopefully they'll be covering the ongoing saga with our resident Flat Earth grifter, Witsit. So his expose I've already been privy to. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for going through it in a rehearsal. We did a full dress rehearsal. We don't often do that. QE, it's becoming more and more common that he likes to do a dress rehearsal before he actually does these shows. Gauge which bits need reacting to, gauge which bits he needs to shut us up on, as you do. Hello, QE. Good to have you.
Good morning.
Good morning. So yeah, be here or be sphere on the Quantum Eraser YouTube channel in a few hours from this live stream. So hopefully there's a link. I think Divergent Droid's been, yes, he has, spamming the chat with that link, so check it out.
Can't be a link yet. I didn't make a link.
It's just linked to the channel, I think. You haven't obviously published it as of yet for a live stream then. Fair enough. Either way, in a few hours it'll be up. I tend to only publish mine about an hour before I go live, to be fair.
Mine's an hour and a half.
Yeah. Because you don't know what's going to happen. If you schedule them too early and then something comes up, you know, one of the beauties of, I know it's not necessarily the case for you, QE, but certainly for me, you know, this is my job and obviously I want to keep a schedule. But one of the beauties of being self-employed is that if you happen to have a toothache, for example, you can go, I'm not working today, I'm just in too much pain. And you don't have to. And there's no boss to answer to, which is lovely. But it means that, yeah, you're best off not scheduling the shows well in advance. Some people schedule them well in advance, but not necessarily myself. Anyway, we have got a video to cover today, and we are going to cover it on this live stream, so I'm going to get straight into it before we run out of time. So this is one of Candice Owen's detractors, Xander. Can't reach it this distance. My eyes are too blurry, man. I'm getting older. Xanderhal, I think I've said that correctly. So, as is always the case, when we respond, please let this gentleman know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with a positive, polite comment, helping him along in the YouTube algorithm. Nothing too sweary, nothing that's going to get you immediately removed by the YouTube videographer either, or the YouTube bots for that matter. So please let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980, and that is spelt out exactly as I've said it, all one word with an @ Nathan Oakley 1980. Sent me, and just let him know why, i.e. we've responded to your video. The idea being, if he was to do the same in return, he'd put a link to my video and help me along in the YouTube algorithm. Because in spite of probably a fair chunk, maybe 10 or 15 people smashing the share button, we're up to 90 amazing views for that presentation. Very disappointing. Please share the show. Thank you very much to all of you who did share the show. So it would have been lower than 90 if it wasn't for the people who did actually share the show. And I even did a poll to establish that several of you did actually hit the share button. But we don't get any YouTube algorithmic love, hence me having to do things like this, asking our sometimes detractors. In this case, it's a Candice Owens detractor. But either way, I'm green to this video. I don't know what he's going to say. So it's apparently Flat Earth. It's in the title. The video being called Candice Owens Proves the Anti-Woke to Flat Earth Pipeline is Real. Okay, great title. Anyway, please let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with a polite comment that won't immediately get removed. Hopefully he'll do the same for me if he is to respond. So we'll get straight into it. Unless anybody else has got any preamble that they wanted to add to Xander Hall. No? Yeah, no.
The shadowy cabal that they're referencing just always ends up being Jews.
I had him on
it just
double
always
speed.
comes back in.
Sorry, let's just sort that out.
Anti-Semitism, and for Candice Owens and her fans, of course it does, but
in this case, we're not going to be focusing on that as much. It's mostly going to be about the fun of the conspiracies. And this conspiracy is that of the shape of the Earth. This is one of my guilty pleasures, by the way, is watching flat Earth debunk videos. Okay, it's literally
all you can find if you do a search for flat Earth.
One of my guilty pleasures. It's sort of in line with what I do to a degree, but I'm not a scientist. Like,
you're in a category error. What would
Sorry,
you?
Nathan.
Yeah, go ahead, Brian.
My guilty pleasures is putting in things like aircraft pitch data and annihilate the paradigm.
Why are you whispering?
Because I want them to have to listen in, Howard. It's an AMSR destruction of all of these.
I really want them to listen to this. It's very, very important.
I know the Earth is round. There are a lot of pretty fundamental observations.
That's an interesting turn of phrase. You know the Earth is round? Yeah, round and flat aren't mutually exclusive.
That prove the Earth is round, you know, time zones, sunrise, sunset.
Right, sunrise and sunset are measured with respect to a flat plane.
Time zones? Are you serious?
I'm waiting for Brian. No,
Hands
Brian.
are wet. Sorry. Time zones, is he crazy? There's 32 time zones on his globe. And only one of his hemispheres is 19, I think. It's a joke. The guy hasn't got a clue about what he's talking about. He just in his first preamble there, he's told me everything. That he's like desperately seeking some kind of confirmation bias because he's in a huge amount of globe pain. And now he's bringing up things he's never even researched. He's just thick. He's thick. You're thick, Sander, however. You're thick. You're a thick idiot. You're an unbelievably stupid, thick idiot. Your level of intellect is so low that I wouldn't talk to you if you were the last person available to talk to you on earth.
Just tell him how you really feel. Don't sugarcoat it.
Did we both just say that at the same time?
Your mic's distorted. Your mic's going crazy. Chocolate. Yes, indeedy. In any event, we were discussing Mercator last night, actually. We were up till gone midnight, maybe 1 in the morning. Originally, it was Brian, Adam, myself, Neil, and John, Refracted Curvature, but that got whittled down to just myself, Brian, and Adam till 1 in the morning here in the UK, chatting about, very specifically about Mercator, about the creation of the grid and the distortions that have occurred throughout history, which is very difficult to pin down. So hopefully I'm not stepping on any toes or going to get any backs up by saying this, because this is something that we potentially wouldn't necessarily deal with on a live stream because of the gaps in history that you I hate to be suggesting that we're conspiratorial in any way. We're not, but in order to discuss it, you have to read between the lines because there are plenty of them to read between and gaps in terms of how this has come to fruition. What we do know is in terms of the distortions of the time zones, Brian's just gone through it and then spent the majority of the time demeaning this Xander guy or whatever he's called. But fair enough, you know. But it's just interesting, you know, we do discuss these things behind the scenes because they are fascinating. It's not frustrating, but it's just one of those subjects that wouldn't necessarily get discussed to any great extent in terms of how that's come to be. The how and the why is shrouded in a lot of historic mystery. So therefore, it's stuff that out of preference for the treatment that we'd receive if we did speculate about it on a live stream, there's a good chance that we may phrase something incorrectly and then get taken as being conspiratards or, you know, speculative idiots or whatever. It's like, well, hence it doesn't make it onto the live streams. But it's interesting that he's talking about time zones when we were very specifically going through some of Mercator's work yesterday, right, Brian?
Yeah, he's an idiot. But this is just
focus on
idiot.
Just get a handle on Brian. Focus on the Mercator bit, not on the Xander idiot bit.
Well, what do you want me to tell you?
Just say yeah. Just say yeah. We were looking at Mercator. There's nothing to expand on.
Yeah, okay. They said that they didn't know anything about longitude until after the 1700s. Yes, longitude is on all the maps before it. Mercator's maps from the 1500s. 1500s have longitude on it. You know, they said that they couldn't deal with longitude then until they got a chronometer. Yet there was perfectly good Swiss watches for hundreds of years, a couple of hundred years before that, or something. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
It's like it's a whole story. Adam lays it out better than I do. The whole story is a complete and utter joke. Kepler couldn't have created his analemma unless the latitude and longitude grid already existed. But these people don't give any thought to any of this. Bozos like this guy on the radio just come out with claims. Just empty claims from another empty bozo.
Yeah, fine. So we're back to the point where I can press play, basically.
Bashing this guy.
Back to being able to press play, because he's asserting time zones as a baseless assertion. So we're back on track.
The horizon and how things work on it. I lived on the wall.
The horizon and how things work on it, besides being a sentence fragment, no, the horizon's horizontal. It's used to reference a flat plane. So, given that all horizontals are parallel with it, I'm going to say the horizon doesn't prove a damn thing for you on a ball that you say you know you are on.
No, in fact, it proves the flat Earth, because you can't have a horizon on a globetard. So it's a little bit more deadly than that.
Precisely.
Water, so I've seen a lot of things disappear over horizons. I know that's real.
And you're going to link that to
welcome to flat Earth.
Yeah, well, not necessarily, but
yeah, necessarily.
Well, yeah, he said horizon in the statement, so yes. But no, he hasn't linked it. This is, unless it's followed in the next section with
this is Wiki parroting surface puke. That's all this is. We're used to it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty certain, even with my own terrestrial observations, the Earth is round, right? However, the flat...
No, you've just made a base... That's why I was hesitant to do it until he didn't actually make a connection to his original assertion. You've seen things disappearing into the distance, you know that's real. And based on your terrestrial observations, it sounds like you're inserting extra long words to make yourself sound smart here. According to what you've looked at, but you've already said that. Earth is round. Well, that just becomes a baseless assertion. You're not connecting the two things together, are you?
Flat Earth community
Nathan.
Parallel.
Go ahead.
Was someone ever going to say that up the Black Swan?
Oh, we'll get there.
The horizon is not the leading geometric edge of a sphere. Even within their own maths, it's not something, it's only optical. It's not something that you can sail over. It's like, why is no one saying that? I don't get this.
No, I'll do it right now.
Why did you not say that? Why did...
I'm not very frosty. You don't want to highlight your own failings and shortcomings, because then you sound pathetic if you're e-begging at the time. So I don't want to do that. But I'm just not on top of things, Brian. More than anything, I'm focusing on a huge amount of pain in my head. So I'm just finding it difficult to concentrate. That's all that is. Yeah, if the Earth is a sphere, or was a sphere, with a radius of 3959 miles, then every distance to horizon measurement can be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, as laid down in the Earth curve mathematics. Distance to horizon in the Black Swan is beyond the geometric limitations at 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, as per the Earth curve mathematics. Therefore, the Earth is not a sphere, and the horizon is not Earth curve. Debunked 2020. That is a perfectly delivered, although I did have some extra interjections about Earth curve mathematics in the calculation, but a pretty good, pretty concise summary of the Black Swan argument, a modus tollens logical consistency that debunks Earth curve and Earth sphericity. That's it. It's done. 2020. Black Swan. Excellent, Brian. Yes, I'm glad you're here.
Nathan, we're hearing people parroting what they heard from somebody else from another YouTube channel or something. And as you said, if you type in flat Earth, you're going to get controlled opposition. But when you hear a guy say time zones prove the Earth is a globe or round, and then he says, I've lived on the ocean plenty of times. I've seen things disappear over the horizon. You mean like the sun, right? So that's going over a curve to you. You know, I've seen a mountain disappear as I drive away from it. Oh, yeah, that's over Earth curve. And then you bring in the black swan, and their Earth curve isn't where it's supposed to be. So forget Earth curve. But they're under this constant indoctrination from false narratives about optical things is always related to a globe or something curving away from you. At the same time, the sextant doesn't work that way. The Osborne fire finder doesn't work that way. Maps don't work that way. And they're just oblivious to all this. And so we're fighting a bigger foe than someone who's just parroting. This is a condition of indoctrination where they're associating something not true with something visible. And they're saying, see, that proves a globe. But they're not thinking it out, as Brian said.
It's not they're thinking it out, they're not spelling it out. Let me just address that. They're not spelling it out in terms of it being a logical consistency. They're not. It's a baseless assertion. It's not actually baseless assertion. I keep saying that. It's a non sequitur fallacy. So I see things disappear, and I know Earth's a sphere. You're like, well, how are you linking these two things together? There's no logical consistency in it. Now we know where they would draw the logical consistency from, as in they'd take it from the Earth curve mathematics. Now he's not saying that though, is he? He's just stuffing these two things together. Go ahead, John.
Appear and sphere rhyme.
Yeah.
I mean, how much more logical consistency do you need than that? Like, that's just spot on.
Appear and sphere rhyme. In the words of Arnold Rimmer, I think there's something that we all have to bring to this conversation, John, but I think the thing you should bring is silence.
Hey, John, how you doing?
Yeah, John was just pointing out the level of evidence this guy has.
Oh, sorry. Oh, now I get it. Thank you, Brian. I'll take all of that back, John. I am so rude and stupid. Yeah, you're saying, here's an example of a non sequitur fallacy. God, I'm stupid and rude. So sorry, Brian. Thank you, Brian. Sorry, John.
I think I'm not getting my point across. I'm trying to define the situation when we talk about this with people who've been indoctrinated from birth. They're not connecting the dots. And by us doing what we're doing, it's caught if they take a minute to think about it and say, well, you know, an elevation angle. That can't work on it. They never go there. They never can even let that truth hit them. It's because you have another layer of fear because it's painted as a conspiracy theory or it's archaic. So they can't even entertain investigation of the detailed arguments we give because they're afraid of what their fellow man will say to them.
A bit behind the curve there, Ted.
You say the words elevation angles to like random Joe on street, their eyes are just going to glaze over. You know what I mean? They have no idea what that is. You know, and look how flippantly the guy said that before. Oh, I've definitely seen things disappear at distance, so Earth's definitely round. And that's what you were talking about, that indoctrination. They've brainwashed everyone into thinking because you see that effect, therefore Earth is a globe. It would be so simple to tell them, well, if that same effect can happen over a flat plane, does it then prove that it's on a globe? No. Okay, thanks. Argument done. And normal people sometimes can't understand that. I've had that conversation with people, you know, but when you go to elevation angle and celestial navigation, people don't know what the hell that is.
That's not.
You know what I mean?
Stop it.
stop it.
Eli, are you talking to us? Are you telling us to stop it, or are you just hot micing, or you tell everyone on the panel to stop it?
Sorry, talking to my cats.
Yeah, I thought so. Yes, thank you, Chocolate. Yes, indeed.
Somebody told me to stop.
Can we just acknowledge? Hold on, Eli.
brother.
Hold on. Yes, Chocolate, absolutely. Sorry, now John's QE's piped up. Go ahead, QE.
Oh, brother.
But that was really. Thank you. Your interjection.
You're welcome. Talking to my cat. My God.
Thank you for the colour commentary. 97 people watching live.
You're welcome.
Let's see if we can get it up to 100. Please share the show if you've not done so already. This has been a fantastic show, ram-packed with flat Earth evidence. New flat Earth evidence on this show. So, not often. These things don't come along very often. Normally, once a year, we'll get a top quality proof. In the last 12 months, there's been 3. 3. We've gone from telling people at the start of the year, you need to start on the front foot. You need to start telling people Earth's measured flat. We've gone from that to the elevation, not the elevation, the pitch data, and now the Osborne firefinder, all in the space of 12 months. So like buses, you're waiting around forever, 1 a year, and then 3 come along at once in 2024. It's no wonder we are heavily suppressed. This show should have 500 people, 1,000 people, 5,000 people watching, struggling to get 100 with almost everyone on the show sharing it. Nevertheless, please share the show, and I am very grateful to all of you who do smash the share button. I'm nearly done with my call to action. I know you're keen in G+. Go ahead.
That's actually what I wanted to point out. The arguments have come quicker. We have the pitch data and the presentation that Huey, Adam, and Ryan did. We have this presentation this morning that 10th Man did. And I couldn't help but notice that we're not talking about it. And it's like the greatest thing since like bread. Again, and it's like, not only has the engagement from the ballers become less and less, but it's like we move on because we're like, yeah, of course it's flat, no duh. Yeah, that's cool, man. Cool, it's flat. We do that. You know, did Q even get to hear the presentation? Do you know what we're talking about?
I can't really make out. I'm only making out about 40% of what you're saying because Mike's a complete train wreck. But yes.
Oh, why didn't you say that?
Why did you? I listened to QE's show the other night. He told you 6 times. What do you want?
Oh, I thought you meant now. Sorry.
No, it is. Yeah, it's probably just reception area. It's just it gets painful after about a minute. The first minute's tolerable because I can just about decipher it with 40% legibility or intelligibility. Anyway, let's move on. We're in the middle of responding to this Xander guy.
Well, with other far-right conspiracy, anti-information movements, has blown up in recent years.
Sorry, did he just categorize this as anti-information?
Yeah, he
categorizes as far right, which is kind of funny.
We cover the Osborne firefinder today, based on the name of the channel. Let's go and have a look. I'm really sorry, this is not slick. Where is it?
I'm a pinko lefty, by the way.
Hold on.
I'm a pinko lefty.
Follow My Leap. That is the name of the channel, right? He's a guy that's literally keeping lives safe by observing where these fires break out. Yet this guy is telling us that we're covering the same thing. We're just covering it in more detail than he did in his shorts video. But we're what? Part of some disinformation structure. How dare he? No, we tell people how Earth's measured. There's no controversy in what we say. There's no debate about what we say. It's measured flat. These are facts. Uncontestable facts. Is it incontestable or uncontestable?
And apparently, but not really, it's just the grift, you guys know how Candace is. Apparently, Candace Owens, the character she plays, is...
We know how Candace Owens is. Actually, no. I have no idea how Candace Owens is. Are you projecting your infatuation with this woman onto me? No, I have no idea
Nathan,
what she's like.
No,
Go on.
Nathan, he said grift. So we do presentations with pitch data, today's Black Swan, everything. We do measurements, and that's grift?
No, they're just measurements.
Yes, see, this guy is already, basically with what he said, he's already classified himself as a quote-unquote lefty. And in my experience, most lefties who classify themselves as that, they're not particularly too interested in facts. So when you said, Nathan, when you said you were dealing in facts, people like this don't really care about that.
Yeah, the Earth can identify however it chooses. We got to leave that on the Earth to decide.
Yep.
We are just going to let this stereotype fallacy from us fly, right? No one's going to say anything.
No, I
was going to preface it. Sorry, Tom. I was going to preface it with, I don't mean to stereotype fallacy. That's why I said, in my opinion, most leftists, they're not into facts. But yeah, the way this guy's talking, I've heard this guy before, or the type. So might be a stereotype, but sometimes stereotypes are stereotypes for a reason. Anyway, I'm done.
Yeah, sorry, Chaco. But this is my whole point about what I said earlier. He's what's the word again? Indoctrinated. And if you go against the indoctrination, you're a conspiracy theorist, you're this archaic flat earther, you've got an act of Congress, you've got everything going against measurements. And yet measurements are at the base of all of navigation and mapping. And when we say, no, the measurements are from a plane of reference, and the plane of reference is horizontal, and it's not from a curved surface because you can't get an elevation angle from a curved surface. And we go through all our good arguments based on facts and measurements. These people, like Chaco said, that just flies over their head, their eyes glaze, because the only thing they know is if they ever become a flat earther, they're these crazy people. And so this indoctrination through the media and newspapers and books and all these false flat earth channels, and especially the ones that are going crazy now, controlled opposition, this is what keeps these people in the dark, because it's not that the facts, if they see, will prove it to them. It's the fear of man. How would people think about them if they take this position, even if they can defend it like we do?
That's something I've been touching on recently, actually. People fear change. People are creatures of habit, and they don't want to be exposed to something that's going to change their way of being. So even when people try and remain indifferent to the subject when it's presented to them with a how does this change my life attitude, I've still got to work to go to tomorrow and I'll still have to pay my mortgage, that sort of attitude, I want to lean into that. Like, actually, nothing changes. It always was flat. There's a religion that is based upon those measurements. Now, you can remain a part of that religion and obviously nothing will change. You can become aware of that religion and then decide to, smirk when people describe the religion they're unaware of and go about your daily business knowing how Earth is measured. So,
well,
nothing
this guy, he's never seen Earth curve, but when something disappears over the horizon, he's been indoctrinated that it's because of Earth curve. He knows the properties of water at rest, but because he's been indoctrinated, he thinks beyond the horizon, water actually bends when there's no proof of any of that. But he accepts it.
Is now a flat earther. And while she says she's not here in this quote I'm going to read to you, the second half of the sentence immediately shows, okay, well, no one who isn't a flat earther would say this. This is trying.
Who cares if one person is or is not a flat earther? Who cares? This is what...
If your entire...
Go on.
I thought you were asking a question. If your entire reality is built on consensus, one person disagreeing can be highly destructive.
Yeah, it's sad, isn't it? But it,
well, this guy, this guy doesn't know that he's a flat earther because he needs a flat Earth for his globe.
Yeah, but Brian's always... Well, I was trying to get that to lead to, and I can't segue very well today, is Brian's assertion when they attack us personally, right? It's like, this is an immediate attack on Candace Owens for being a flat earther. It's using the flat earth label as the attack. Yeah? It's like, okay, so you're going to immediately attack her and her person rather than any of the necessary, you know, surrounding information that she might or might not be purveying. It's just her and what she now stands for. It's like, it gives a toss. But as I'm not going to ask you to repeat yourself for refracted curvature. Absolutely. In a consensus world, one person disagreeing actually has, if she has some influence, she's an influencer. How dare she disagree with my consensus viewpoint, right?
But it's worse than that, because Candace Owens is very influential, and she's becoming more and more and more influential, because she's literally exposing mainstream media for being completely corrupt in a way no one ever was able to do, ever. And her, no, she's never said she's a flat earther. I hear her talking about globe stuff regular. Actually, I end up face spamming, right? But, so she's not claiming to be a flat earther. I don't think she is a flat earther. She may be in the future say that, but I haven't heard her say that. Right? She generally said that other people are calling her flat earther because she's calling out NASA's nonsense. Right? So suddenly she's a flat earther. That's their way of trying to shame her away from calling out the likes of NASA. And she's also a conservative. And this guy, there's an election coming up, and this guy has an issue with conservatives because he's on the left. And so he wants to shame all these conservatives into, you're going to be a flat earther if you're a conservative, so you better, vote for whoever or be on my side so everyone can be woke or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
He basically says like the same thing, according to him. It's like just being a flat earther is being a conservative. In a sense, that's bad. So is being a flat earther.
There's something more to this. It's more psychological because he's trying to shame anyone, including Candace, for even referencing it. Because the minute you say, hey, remember that guy, Joe? Yeah, Joe, yeah, successful businessman, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. You know he's a flat earther now? No. How could he be I thought he was a smart guy. You see, it's just used for shame, and that's the way it's portrayed to all these ballers who are still in the cave thinking the shadows are real. Someone says, no, this is where it's at. And all of a sudden, that smart guy that they sought advice from, where their friends were barbecuing together, is no longer have any credit because the consensus worldview has done a great job of indoctrinating people from critical thinking, discernment, and investigation, because if you even look into that, you're one of them.
I've literally heard that. Like, since I became a flat earther, there are a couple of people that have been in my life that have said, bro, you make so much sense with everything you say. How can you be involved in this particular thing? Everything else you say is great, but this, and they can't understand it.
Right, 101 people watching. Thank you again to all the people who smashed the share button. Please share the show if you've not done so already, and a very warm welcome to all of you who've joined because people have shared the show. Shout out to TJ Bowman. There are conservatives who think FE is left-wing too. It's associated with stupidity, like 72 genders. Thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate the support. 104 people watching. Someone obviously shared the show while I was doing that call out. Please share the show if you've not done so already.
And with appeal to flatter.
No, we're doing a bit more of this video.
Candace Owens. I am not a flat earther. I'm not a round earther. Actually, what I am is I am somebody who has left the cult of science. All right.
Oh, she's in a category error too. Yeah? Cult of science. Science is empirical. There is no cult of science. It's a method. Reification fallacy on the part of Candace Owens.
Everybody, I'm going to show you guys this.
Sorry, Nathan.
No, good.
I personally tried to contact Candace Owens concerning that issue and to try and educate her on it, and it was impossible to get in contact with her.
No, it's not. You just haven't got the $100 for the super chat that she likes to get. To.
I'm not paying. I'm not paying to inform her about how to not embarrass herself. I'm not going to do that. You know what I mean?
Deep
End of
state.
story. You're a
but you wouldn't be paying her for that. You wouldn't be paying for her for that. I mean, for God's sakes, if you've ever eaten candy, I mean, how many bucks can you put into that? And that's gone, right? Like, you're doing this because you want her not to say that to her big audience. That's more than worth $100 to me if she's gonna stop saying it.
If you've ever eaten Candice, what the hell are you talking about?
Candy. Probably smoking weed.
Oh crap! Freudian slip.
I'm on a few
Freudian
painkillers.
slip on the table.
Am I hearing things?
Candy, like I'm sure you spent $100 on sweets, right?
Me?
Wasn't
I'm
I talking to
completely
Brian?
confused. Why am I being asked this question? I've got to take control. Either I'm tripping out or something very wrong is going on.
Yeah, the tablet's having an effect on you, Nathan. I've noticed that now since the start of the show. You're not really with it.
I'm not. I know I'm not.
Which is fine. I was just telling Brian.
Okay, I'll play along like this is normal. Yeah, I have bought $100 worth of candy. Of course, that's the normal subject we talk about here.
He's not telling you that twice.
Nathan, say 5 minutes.
Can we move on?
I think we should stay here.
Let's move on.
This clip. This is from back in July. And it's a bit old now, back in July, but the relevant continuation of this story is much more recent.
Elijah, don't move.
All right.
My poor husband, he rolls over. He's like, "What are you reading?" And I feel like a regular.
Ugh, man, this guy has got 91,000 subscribers, and he can't figure out how to lower the gain on a video he's playing. Yeah, I just whack it right up against the limiter, I would. Let's square off every single wave.
Wife says something, I don't know, maybe a love series.
I can't do it, man. I can't deal with pain in my teeth and distorted audio. One man can only take so much. Right, shout out to Roger Ledwell for the super chat. He says,
just turn the sound down. Sorry.
No. I'll educate you in a moment. Local is not exclusive to one place, says Roger Ledwell. I'm in La La Land. What do you mean local's not exclusive to one place? It's local to me. Where is
Everyone has a local.
Like locally flat?
Oh, not one. Yeah, okay. Everyone can have a local. Therefore, everyone's got a local. Therefore, it's lots of places. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Do you want me to go through the video?
Yeah.
Listen, it's that audience. The vultures are circling. They sense weakness. 107 watching. Smash that share button.
Roberts sweeping her.
I'm reading crazy things on social media. Oh, I'm so quirky and weird.
Away.
Why is this guy's malfunction? Why is he doing an imitating voice and parodying what she's just told us? Just criticize her if you've got criticism.
Because that's what media does. So because people watch media, this is how he speaks, because that's how they speak.
When you say media, do you mean like
for a serious topic?
You took in Fox News and so forth?
Yeah, all of it. Yeah.
Fine.
Me, on the other hand, he rolled over, he asked me, and I said, "Oh, I'm reading a flat earth theory." And it dawned into an entire conversation. He's like, why are you reading a flat earth theory? And I'm like, because somebody messaged me on Manect about it, and they included some links, and I'm just reading them. I don't know. I'm just an interested person, no matter.
We have gone through this video on multiple occasions, in case anybody's wondering why I'm not pointing out the category errors and so forth.
What? If there's a bunch of people that believe something, I now want to know what it is that they believe.
1 second, Nathan.
Yeah, well, just before you go, Brian. Yeah, did you hear that, mate? What's his name again? Xander something? She's heard that people are interested in it, so she's looking into it. She's a bleeding journalist. Yeah, so she's not ascribing herself to it. She's not aligning herself with anything. Bloody hellfire. This guy's stupid, isn't he? Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah, just so this guy realizes we here, Candace is talking about people who may have beliefs, but we here do not have belief. We absolutely 100%, 100 million billion % know the Earth is a flat stationary plane.
No,
and
for sure.
All your nonsense, 100%.
For sure, and without a doubt.
Without a doubt. Absolutely. And all the nonsense that he thinks is proof for a globe all originates with a flat Earth anyway. And I can bring it back to the origins of every single bit of it, and it all starts with a flat plane. You know, he's a bozo.
And of course, he pushed me on this, and he was talking about the Earth curvature and science. And I said to him, listen, I'm not a flat earther. I'm not a round earther. Actually, what I am is I am somebody who has left the cult of science. I have left the mega church of science.
The mega church of science. You know, using terms like cult and mega church as insults in reference to science is like really funny.
Funny? Like funny ha-ha?
Sure, you can.
Go ahead, Chocolate.
Share your pain, buddy. Share your pain.
Right, you want to agree with him, but he's not drawing a conclusion to his point. Now, if we were making a critique of what he's saying, it would run along the lines of Candice doesn't understand that science is a method for proving things. Therefore, to say that she's detaching herself from a church of method of proving things is illogical and stupid, and means she doesn't understand what science is. But he's not attacking it from that angle. He's saying, no, Candice should be part of this church of science, but I'm going to attack how she's demeaning it as being some sort of church. That's where he's going to go. Neither of them know what science is. Let's just get that clear.
That's where I was going. He's just proven that he hasn't got a clue about what natural science is, because if he did, he wouldn't be making that particular critique. He'd be educating her.
Exactly.
He doesn't know.
Exactly. He'd be critiquing her and correcting her, but instead it's funny.
Because that's...
Right, but on the understanding they do have of science as whatever it is, because they probably think it's the same thing, like math and numbers. That is a cult that people have joined.
Hold on, 10th. Please, can you go on mute, 10th? Thanks. Sorry, one more time, John.
When they say science, they're not thinking of an empirical method. They're thinking of math. When they say science, they think math. They're talking about the same thing. It's just not science.
Yeah, Candace is really not articulate well yet. She's really trying to say pseudoscience, but she doesn't know that yet. The other guy is in pseudoscience, but is pretending he's got real science.
I'm sorry.
Unfortunately, I'm sorry. She's not. You can't be saying something you're not.
It's just terrible grammar from 10th. Candice is not articulate well. That was a terrible piece of grammar to suggest that she's not articulating things well. Just contextually.
No, I said,
it's not just about grammar. I mean, he's insinuating that she. Well, shit. He's the one that got what I'm saying not on point, and I'm trying to make the point.
God. Can we move on?
Not yet.
For God's sake.
Candace Owens is Dave White. I'm not At this moment, I don't care who she will be. At this moment, she thinks like that. That's it. It is what it is.
She's not Dave Weiss. She's just some woman that's come across the... She's just... none of you watch Deception Detective. Just
She's
take...
much more attractive than Dave was.
Just take what she says to mean what she says. That's it. So when she says, I've come across the subject, my husband was looking into a flat earth quote theory category error. Okay, but let's not address that. So she's looking into it as a journalist. Now, I'm adding in that line, but that's what she is. That is it. There's no lines to read between here.
I wasn't reading any lines. I'm not reading any lines, but the last few years, everybody's telling us trust the science on many things. And she says, you know what? I don't trust the science because they're lying to us. And so she's coming from that point of reference is all I'm saying. But when she realizes that all these people who said trust the science, as we have said on the show, are stealing the valor of real science and saying it's science when it's not, it's pseudoscience, she's actually in a good place because she's doubting anyone who says trust the science. But she doesn't know that you could trust the science if it's real science.
Yeah, okay, I'll accept that. Take him. Hey, Flatsy.
Hola.
Like mega churches are bad. Like, are conservative pundits now all of a sudden opposed to faith and mega churches?
No, that wasn't the comparison she was drawing. The comparison was that there was a mega church of science. Now, obviously, we'd critique that as being a category error, but her point is to say that the notions, the pseudoscience, as just detailed by 10th Man, she wants to detach herself from, and the comparison terminology she's using is megachurch for that idea of, in this case, if we want to pigeonhole her, but I'd have to do so to make it concise, concisely described as heliocentrism, if you will. Now, she's saying I'm not a flat earther or a round earther, but I don't like the lies of quote-unquote science in a category error.
Because, no, they're not. I can tell you they're not. I can tell you Candace Owens is not actually opposed to faith and mega churches.
Can you? You got that little crystal ball with Candace name on it, have you? You can tell us that.
And yet, conservatives and Christians...
Go on.
Go on. No, I'm just saying he can point out she's a Catholic.
Christians love to use those
stereotyping fallacy to follow
as accusations of why science is bad.
That's what Christians do, is it? Stereotyping fallacy. Science being bad in the eyes of a stereotyped Christian is irrelevant and a category error again. It's not good or bad, right? It's a method.
I'm pretty sure the actual Christian doctrine on this is science falsely called.
That's the one. So, science falsely called. I like that. Yeah. Falsely named, falsely called. Yeah. Science in name only, because it isn't science. It's pseudoscience. 10th did a good job of expanding on that exact fact.
Things that they admit are true of religion. Why do they try to compare science to religion to make it look bad if they are trying to defend religion?
That's not what happened.
No.
It's a cult. It's a cult of deception, and all cults deceive. That's what she's comparing it to.
Yeah, if only she wasn't using the word science, we could align with her, but we can't.
It's so bizarre. It's because they can't.
Say again.
That's where I was trying to say. If she only knew, she would have corrected herself and said pseudoscience and had a demarcation between the real thing versus the hijacked version of it.
Yeah, because when we're in the correct context, we can call it the priesthood. We do. But you have to have that distinguishment between what is actually science and what is peddled as being science to steal the valor of the method that is empirical. The scientific method is empirical. But when people say words like theory, in this case attributed to Flat Earth by Candice, or the guy previous Xander saying, I'm not a scientist. It's like you're about to offer up information that has no relevance to science and the scientific method. Therefore, you're in a category error. Therefore, you're demonstrating you don't know what science is, and so is Candice. But for the fact that she's using that word, we could align with her. And all her comparisons, which are perfectly adequate. It is a priesthood. The people who use the terms of science, which is why she's detaching herself from it, are nothing more than priests. Cox and Tyson are priests. That's what they are.
Can't argue. Candace Owens is a full through and through grifter too, so she's not even actually good at arguing for the right's positions, but what she...
Hold on, now I need an example of how she's deceived people for money if she's going to be claiming to be a grifter. Like we expose Whitsit as lying in an arena.
Hang on.
Go on.
Hang on. Is this Jaren's brother?
I don't know.
It must be because that's what he said you were.
What, a grifter? Well, it's just like...
Yeah, remember? You're a scammer. You're a grifter. You're taking... But they're just projecting who they are because they got the paywalls and they got the nonsense. This guy's projecting. He's the grifter.
It's the same programming. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's Kim Hopkins?
Platsy.
Plastic.
She is good at is appealing to the right. And to be fair, a lot of it is her race. Like, a lot of it is the fact she's a, like...
Go ahead.
Yeah, I couldn't get in there before he pressed play. No, he just said she's not even good at arguing for whatever she argues for. She's excellent at arguing for it. She wins debates left, right, and centre. Takes people at power. To say that's a complete and utter lie. She destroyed this guy on my app, and he wants to bring up. She destroyed him.
What does race got to do with it?
I don't know. That's what he's bringing up next.
Let's see where he goes with this seemingly racist remark.
Very far right, willing to say the craziest bullshit imaginable black woman. That is a lot of it, like, legitimately. When you hear conservatives, like...
I mean, when you stereotype it for her being black, that is just racist.
This is like reviewing a tabloid article.
Terrible, isn't it?
Yeah. It is so horrible. I am so offended.
Are we all done with this?
Yeah, he's terrible.
It is awful. Nevertheless, we have covered his video, and we would hope to help him along in the YouTube algorithmic love that we so sorely desire but do not receive. This guy, on the other hand, bigger than us, 93,000 subscribers. 91,000 subscribers, sorry. Please let him know. Its name is Xander Hull, and the video we've covered is called Andis. Sorry, it's my tongue not being able to wrap its way around my mouth correctly. Try that one more time. Candice Owens proves the anti-woke to flat earth pipeline is real. So please let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980. Sent me with a polite comment. Do not swear. Do not get yourself immediately removed by the YouTube bots or the YouTube videographer himself. When you leave him a comment that says @ Nathan Oakley 1980, all one word, sent me. And just let him know that we've responded to his video remarks with respect to Candice Owens being a flat earther and other non-science related subjects that were covered. So yeah, please let him know. Leave a comment. Hopefully polite. And I do mean that sincerely. If you're in the live stream now, there's 104 of you watching live currently. Do actually pop along to Xander Hall's video and let him know that at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. Hopefully he'd do the same for me if he did respond. Any other further remarks before we do actually round out and ask people to stay tuned for the after show?
Just in case this guy ever actually listens to this, just to let him know, like, maybe step your game up, because the ground that we live on, that we measure flat, it's not left or right. It's just measured flat. Okay, buddy? Thanks.
But it is measured flat left to right.
Touche.
Yeah, everything's running parallel with the horizon. With that, I'm going to say, if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. If you are watching this live, though, this is where we bid you farewell. So, another massive thank you to all of you who smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, joined as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, smash the share button. Most importantly, this has been an excellent presentation by 10th at the beginning of this live stream. If you did join us late, so please share the show if you've not done so already. Another massive thank you to today's Discord and G+ panels for making today's live show possible. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.